Hey everybody, it's Julie. Welcome to Hello Monday. Today I'm going to be making a very clean and simple card. This could be used for a sympathy situation or anybody who's just having a difficult time and you wanted to send some love. And it's going to be a single layer card, and I'm working with a really great set called Remember This by Altenew, and I love the fact that this stamp set has so many different ways you can use it because there are outline images and there are also detail images that you can stamp on top to create layers of color. I'm just going to be working with the outline images, and I did want to mention that sometimes when I have trouble with how I want to lay things out, or just I want to experiment and see what's going to happen if I combine certain things, I actually have this basket filled with quarter sheets of typing paper, so I can experiment on that to my heart's content, and I don't feel like I'm wasting good paper, good cardstock. And then when I'm satisfied, I can just put that on an easel in front of me and use that as my guide when I go to work on the project for real. Now, I'm just going to be working with the outline images today on this particular project, and I needed to make a mask, so I'm working with Inkadinkadoo's masking paper, and I went ahead and stamped on the white side. It has a blue liner, and I love using this masking paper for projects like this because it has full adhesive, removable adhesive all across the entire surface of that paper. And you'll see why when I get to that part, why that's kind of critical for this particular project. So now I'm going to take a quarter sheet of watercolor paper. This is 140-pound Canson, and I'm stamping on the smooth side. I prepped it with an anti-static pouch because I'm going to be doing some heat embossing. Now when I emboss in black or gray, something other than clear or white, I like to use a colored pigment ink, and this is VersaFine, and it comes in a gray color. I can't remember which color gray is, but I'll have that listed in the description. And I can use clear powder over the top, and I'm using Judikin's clear detail powder to stick to that, and I went ahead and embossed that very quickly. And now I'm going to protect this flower because I want to stamp some more images over the top. So I'm going to peel the liner away from my mask and lay that over the top. And here's where that masking paper comes in really handy. Because of the all over sticky surface, it stays anchored down on my project and it doesn't get repelled or popped. It doesn't pop off the paper surface like a post-it note would, because the post-it note usually has just that strip of adhesive but not completely, full coverage. So I really like using the masking paper by Inkadinkadoo for this. So now I'm going to come in and add more images, and again I'm using this faster drying pigment ink by Tsukineko Imagine Crafts, and it's the VersaFine pigment ink. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue stamping my images where I want them, and then I can go ahead and remove the mask. And I'm going to take my sentiment and ink up with the VersaFine black. And the reason why I decided to do the sentiment with black is I wanted to make sure it didn't get swallowed up by the flowers that are going to be in the background. So it kind of gives it just a little bit more contrast and pop there. Now I can cover everything with clear detail powder. And so I'm just going to go ahead and pour it all over the whole surface, and then I'll go ahead and heat emboss one more time. Now the large flower that I stamped first, it didn't take any embossing powder because it was already embossed, but everywhere else where the pigment ink was wet, that embossing powder is going to stick. And now I've got a nice detail image that has been embossed in like gray and black, and I can go to town with my watercolor work. And I'm going to be using the Clean Color Real Brush markers, and I love to emboss and use these markers for watercolor work. And you'll notice I'm not filling in everything. I'm just swiping the color right over the top of those embossing lines down in an area where I want heavier color. And then I'm going to take my Pentel Aquash, this is a water brush, and I'm going to spread that color around. So you don't have to fill in your images there to get this effect. And in fact, you really don't want to try to fill the images in. You want to just lay down little swipes of color and then pull that color out. And I'm using a paper towel to blot away the excess color and water because I wanted to wash it out a little bit more so it's not quite so intense. And then I'm going to bring in an orange marker and do the exact same thing. Wherever I want shading, I'm going to add this orange. And at first you think, oh my gosh, that's going to be a hot mess. And it does not look good right now. Even I was kind of like going, uh-oh, I may regret this. But when you take your water brush and start blending that color out and blending that orange into the pink, you're going to get this really soft shell pink color, and you're going to have shading where you want it. And it's just going to create just a whole new shade of watercolor that you didn't have before if you'd only used one single marker color. So I'm just going to continue blending that color out, and blotting away the excess until I'm happy. And I can always go back in and add more color if I need to. And then I'm going to take this really pretty soft blue, it's kind of an aqua blue, and come in and tint these little flowers up here at the top. And I'm doing the exact same technique. I just put little swipes of color. You want to be gentle. You don't want to be mashing the tips of your clean color brush markers or you'll ruin them. You just want to be gentle and swipe the color along the top there, and then I'm blotting here, and then I'm going to come back in and add more color where I want more intensity, and then I'll blend that out again. And I love this particular effect. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the leaves. I'm using this olive green, and I came in and did my first coat of color and then blotted it away, and now I'm just adding more color to increase the shading in those areas. But it works really well when your image has been embossed. So those embossing lines work particularly well with the clean color real brush markers. So now that that panel is completely dry, I'm just going to go ahead and use some tape runner on the back and mount it to the front of a base card. So there you have it, a single layer card that has some really pretty soft watercolor. It was very effortless using those clean color real brush markers and having all the images embossed nicely. And I love doing this because then I don't have any black flecks of embossing powder. Because I used clear, I avoid those problems. So all the still shots are available at the Classroom blog, and you can find all the supplies at ellenhutson.com, and I hope you got some good tips from this project. Thanks for watching.